where does that confidence come from? To be able to have in your mind, okay, if I see this and I want to do it, I'm going to do it. Because a lot of times people will see something that they want to do and be afraid, or not even necessarily outside voices telling them that. That can be their own voice telling them that they can't do it, or they're not qualified, or what if, what if, what if. But you seem to have like an inherent confidence where it's just like you wanted to do it, so you did it. So where did that come from?
I would say this: the tie-in piece of this whole thing is the preparation.
Hello and welcome to the Mic'd Up Podcast. My name is Kaya. I am an author, a poet, and entrepreneur. And today on the podcast, I have a fellow author and podcaster, if you will, that I'm excited to talk to today. I have Seanathan Polidore. Did I say it right? Or better known as Sean P. Oh, I said it perfect. Great. All right. But we're going to go by Sean P for the podcast, but I wanted to make sure I said your name correctly. So thank you for joining me today. How are you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling great, wonderful, beautiful Saturday morning, and I get a chance to rock with you. So I'm winning.
Oh, that's what. All right, that's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm going to read your bio, and we're going to dive right into the Q&A. Okay. Mr. Seanathan Polidore is the son of Clarence and Fersana Polidore. He is a year 2000 graduate of Franklin Senior High School. Mr. Polidore continued his education to earn his master's degree in psychology. His life has had quite a few adventures. Some of those include the U.S. Navy, being a husband and father, health and fitness trainer, co-founder of Penn Business Solutions, motivational speaking for schools and community groups, and being the author or co-author of 8 books. You can find his author interviews on Instagram and YouTube, where he has had the pleasure of interviewing a number of nationally recognized authors, as well as him being interviewed by others. Mr. Polidore's mission in life is to get books into more hands and to leave everyone he meets with something to think about. All right. Very nice bio. So you were going like this. That means you have 10 books now? Okay, you done add up. You need to upgrade your bio there. So,
and that's how fast it's been going. I gotta go back and update. It's been going so fast. Okay. Number 11 is coming. So.
All right. Well, I will say this. You are my first nonfiction author that I've had on the podcast. So yeah, you are. So when I was prepping for it, I had to really rethink my questions. So the first question that I always ask is your background. So in your bio, you mentioned how your life has had quite a few adventures. Can you start by taking us back to a young Sean P.? When you were a child, do you remember what you wanted to do when you got older?
So when I was a kid, like small, like 3 or 4 years old, my very first thing I wanted to be was a ninja, believe it or not. I wanted to be a ninja, being the child of the 80s, early Kung Fu theater, Bruce Lee, Jet Li, all the pantheon of the great martial artists. My first love in life was martial arts. So from a very early age, I'm bugging my mom to go into Walmart, in the magazine aisle. Amongst everything else, they were always martial art. Yeah, martial art publications, man. So I was in there getting martial art magazines and ninja stars and nunchucks or whatever. And then that transferred over to me being 9, 10 years old. I started getting into basketball, right? So okay. We all fall in love with basketball. The Jordan era, Sean Kemp, Shaquille O'Neal, the golden age of basketball, man. So from 9, 10 years old until my 20s, I was on this crazy run when it comes to athletics and sports and basketball. And then go to the military, U.S. Navy. Did my 4-year military tour. It's like 25 countries. We going all over the place. And I come back home from 4-year military journey and go into the world of personal training. Then I go into a 15-year or so run, being a personal trainer, fitness coach, certified various times over in various parts of health and wellness. And then that bring me into the public speaking space. So it's like this trajectory where everything just ties into each other. So I go to schools talking about health and wellness and fitness. That's how it starts. And then schools started calling me in to talk about literacy and passing standardized tests and how you increase your focus and discipline. And that just snowballs into kind of what it is now, where I'm going to all of these schools and different companies, organizations, talking to their staff and motivating and leading the youth.
Okay. So we will for sure get into your motivational speaking. So when you said you wanted to be a ninja and then you got into sports. Now, were you the type of child that did you like hurt yourself trying to do like moves and stuff? You ever jump off the top bunk or something crazy like that? Did you think you could fly?
So the better story is, in pre-K, me and my best friend to this day, his name is Marcus, we in pre-K together. I'm trying to run and do a front flip. I don't know why in my mind I'm going to try to attempt a front flip. I don't know what I was watching. Thundercats, who knows? And I broke my collarbone pre-K. And the worst break I ever had in my life to date. Worst pain ever. I'm in like this full body thing for like, I don't know how many weeks it was.
Oh my gosh.
It was hard.
You must have scared your mom.
That was a part of the bone.
I know you used to give your mom the business.
Every one of my fingers on my hands have been sprained or almost broken. Multiple ankle injuries, both ankles. A lot of injuries. I mean, it's just a young man in the 80s and the 90s, you know, being rough and tough, playing football in the street. And you running track in the street, and you playing tackle in the open field and no pads. And that's what childhood was for. That was a great time. All the scrapes and bruises is like your war wounds, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
If you're too perfect, it's like, you didn't fall down? You never rode a bicycle? You never...
Right.
You never got stitches? You never... It's kind of how our generation was.
Okay. Well,
typical childhood.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't that rough and tumble. I mean, I have a few war scars, but I've never broken a bone. I've only got stitches once, and it wasn't from playing outside. It's just like, But I definitely relate to the time of the 80s, playing out in the street, playing with your friends, riding bikes, falling. That was like the best time to me. Okay.
We outside for real.
Oh yeah.
We outside.
Mm-hmm.
We the get along game. Me and like 50, 20 homies riding the bike, going to somebody's house to go and play ball. We ride like, I don't know how many miles we ride on the bike. Go play ball 8-9 hours straight, and then ride the bike back. That was a typical day.
That was, yeah.
But kids these days like, oh, I want to ride. They want to call an Uber. Get a bike.
That's funny. Bike, that's true. All right. So my next question is, and we're going to get into your book, A Collection of Thoughts. We're going to get into that a little bit later. But in your book, you mentioned that you've been an avid reader for the last 20 plus years. So at what point did you decide that you wanted to pick up a pen and write a book?
So early in my reading journey, I started off a good 10 years reading fictional books first. A lot of folks don't realize.
I'm sorry, you started off reading what kind of books?
Fiction.
Fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, okay.
So I'm reading Eric Jerome Dickey. I'm reading Nikki Turner, Sister Soldier, Omar Tyree. Some of the greats of fictional writing. So my first mind was, I want to try to write a character like this. I want to try writing the scenes and the setting like that. So my first ever writing was actually, I was doing chapters of fictional writing for a while, man, and then I just kind of sort of put it down, got away from it. And it took me many years later, probably almost 10 years, before the mind came to me like, you know what, I'm going to try I started writing some nonfiction. So by that point, I got stories of my own to tell. I got experiences. I've seen things. I've done things. And luckily, I've been a winner at certain things. So now how do I distill that to where another person can use it and they can try to get success in their life? So that's kind of how the nonfiction writing started. Just trying to give information to somebody else they can use.
Okay. All right. Let's see. When you did start writing, I guess let's start with the fiction. When you did start writing, did it come easy to you? Or did you face challenges? Because you're such an avid reader, did you think it was just going to be an easy thing? Oh, I could do this. But how was it really for you?
Man, I'm trying to think back. This talking about like almost 20 years ago, literally. I think I was always creative.
Mm-hmm.
And lucky for our childhood experiences, we in the time where, you and your boyfriend or girlfriend, y'all writing letters back and forth all the time. So
yeah.
Me and my high school sweetheart back then, and I'm in the military, of course, writing across the world. We're writing stories to each other. We're writing things, trying to be expressive, trying to be vivid in detail. So when it came to fictional writing, I think that was the advantage I had when it comes to trying to write imagery and scenery. I want you to feel what I'm feeling. I want you to see what I want you to see. So that kind of came to me easily. And yeah, I've always been a talker. I can talk a lot, as you can tell. So yeah, me writing, that wasn't all that difficult. But I'm trying to emulate. I'm trying to mimic what I've seen these great writers do.
Okay.
That's a tall task. It's very, very tall.
Now you said you were trying to mimic what they were doing. Do you feel like you were able to do that? Were you satisfied with what you were able to do?
Back then, at that time, I think I was doing pretty good. Like, I would let my close friends read what I was writing. I would let my cool co-workers, like, man, check this out, right? See what you think. And, like, people was digging it. People was liking it. I was getting good response. I think in hindsight, if I would have stayed on that track and just kept at it, it would have gotten exponentially better. But again, it takes 10,000 hours to master anything, right? And I put the pen down at that time. So, but my fictional writing now is way better than it was, of course, 20 years ago. So I can't wait to start showing the world some of the fictional side of what I write now.
Do you have any fictional titles out?
No, not at all.
None right now. Okay, but that's something you're gonna be coming out with soon. Okay.
I have a laptop full of stories, my private little files. I have my cell phone full of stories, and I make short stories, kind of novellas.
Okay.
I'm playing with it, but just my friends. Once again, only my friends in my circle have seen that part of my writing.
Gotcha. Is what genre is it?
Man, it's like fiction. It's like sometimes it's erotica. Sometimes it's just various short story, quick, fast paced, action driven things.
Okay. All right. My next question that I have for you is, how did becoming an author help you grow personally?
Man, great question. Great question. Because I write self-help. I write inspiration, motivation. So if I'm writing these things in these books, I have the subconscious pressure to live these things consistently. I have the pressure to stand up to what I'm saying in these books.
Right.
I have the pressure of overcoming an obstacle, or being disciplined, or going and seek mentorship and being a good mentee. I have to embody what I'm talking about in these terms.
Do you feel that puts a lot of pressure on you?
I would say no, because I've been so long living like I live. To me, it's kind of second nature. But I am mindful of everything I post, everything I say, what I'm doing in public. I'm a public person. I'm in these schools. Right. I can't just go and just post anything on my social media. I have principals following my page, and city officials, mayors, and all kinds of elected people follow my page, and they they share my content. They call me to come in. So I want to be always just mindful of what I'm doing and representing based on my content.
Mm-hmm. I would think, for me, I would feel like that would be a lot of pressure. That would be a lot of pressure to constantly think of who's seeing, who's seeing, who's seeing. And you saying that is just the way you are at this point because you've been doing it for so long.
I'll say this: I'm blessed that I don't really have many bad habits. Right? I'm not out there breaking and doing whatever. So whoever does that, that's cool. I'm not judging. I'm just saying I don't really live a crazy alternative lifestyle in my life where I got a code switch back and forth. Oh, I'm in front of this person, and then Saturday night now I'm pretty much the same guy, 24/7 about to help.
Gotcha.
That makes
gotcha. So it's not a far stretch, is what you're saying. It's not a far stretch from who you are naturally.
My friends and I, we debate code switching all the time, right? Code switching time. And I'm blessed that the people that raised me, my grandparents, my mother, my aunts, uncles, they're the same people no matter who on the phone talking. It could be a bill collector, it could be a co-worker, it could be a cousin. They're the same person. And so I think in my understanding of life, I'm the same person pretty much no matter who I'm talking to. I go to a school, do a school speech, I can leave and straight go do some adult content later on that evening. I'm not drastically changing what I'm doing and saying because I try to be the same person.
Okay. Alrighty. Let's see. All right. Ideally, I don't want to say in a perfect world, but I'll just say ideally, when you release a project, when you release a book, what is it that you're looking for people to walk away with? Because you're talking about that you do motivational speaking, you pretty much live your life to lead by example, and you do self-help. So what is it ideally when someone picks up one of your books and puts it down, what do you want them to walk away with from that?
Well, in all of my books, I try to incorporate questions inside the book on purpose. So the book could be used as an educational tool, after school programs, homeschoolers. I'm always thinking of that in mind when I'm writing my work. I want you to put the book down and go take some actions without work. I don't want you to say, "Oh, could write so good," and page 17 when he said this quote. And I don't want you to say that. I want you to come back and tell me, man, you know what? I read chapter 5 and I went started this.
Right.
I read this part, I'm doing that. I love getting those emails. I love getting those phone calls. Now I'm going back to school. Now I'm going to start a business.
That's good.
My daughter heard this, we were driving to work. The audio book. My daughter heard this, and now we're doing that. I want you to go do something. Okay. That's what I want when the person. They're meant to be, I call it an action book.
Right.
It's not meant to be something off the table and, oh, it's on my TBR on the shelf. Like, that's cute on social media, but I want you to go take actions what I really, really think.
Okay. Very intentional. You say that in your bio that you have co-authored books as well as written them. Did you find the process of collaborating with other authors to write a book easy, or did you come into challenges? And obviously you all are on the same theme. That's why you're collaborating. But just because you're on the same theme doesn't mean you all have the same ideas. So was it a challenge for you to do that, or was it something that came natural?
It came so natural, it's scary. Oh. I'm telling you earlier about having 10 books and number 11 coming, and then something else coming, and then the audio book dropping. We work so much on the same wavelength naturally. So much of this is a 2-minute or less phone call. I'm always bragging that me and Dr. Wade and Kofi, we can have a group call or voice notes on Instagram. We get more done than people that come together with a big boardroom meeting and a big old whiteboard and all this stuff. We get so much done in 2 minutes or less. This is the book idea. This is the chapter titles. You take chapter 2 and chapter 4. You take chapter 1 and chapter 3. You do the forward. You on the afterword. Like break.
All right. So
like a huddle. Break. and then we start attacking our individual parts, and then we're showing each other, my chapter's on this. Look how I'm coming. All right, bet you did that. My chapter's on this. Look what I'm doing. And then, unbeknownst to each other, I might say something in chapter 5 that ties back into something that Dr. Wade said in introduction. Not even on purpose.
Right. So
we're seeing it after the fact.
You all are.
It's just so synced up. It's scary.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You all are in sync. Now, do you think that? I mean, that's a great experience for you to have with them. Do you think you would be able to collaborate with maybe someone else that you really don't have a good relationship with, but you all have the same theme? Have a successful collaboration.
Yeah, I think I could, only because us being so in sync comes from how much we communicate. Mm-hmm. So me and my brother Kofi, both of us work at night, both of us up all night. We have 4 and 5 in the morning going back and forth. This idea, this marketing scheme, this T-shirt, this rollout. We'll do these videos and launch it like this. Then we're going on that podcast Saturday. Like we talking, we talk so much. That's why it's so together. So me and a stranger, it would take us just collaborating and just talking and getting to know each other, nuances, and then I think I probably could.
Do you want to collaborate with other people?
Yes. If you're watching this podcast right now or whatever, you're listening to it, you want to reach out to me and hit me up, we can definitely collaborate. I'm cool with that. I'm about that.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about your motivational speaking. I'm interested in that. You summarized, how you got into motivational speaking, but can you tell us like a little bit more detail about how you ended up in that space?
Okay, so again, I've had a variety of jobs in my life. Man, this is like, once again, 15, 20 years ago, I had a job for this lumber company on a delivery truck, delivering, you name anything for a house or a building, we delivered it by hand, right? Bricks, cement, concrete, the shingles for the roof, the sheetrock. You name any part of a place, we was carrying it 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, right? I'm on a delivery truck with my headphones. I'm playing these old Will Smith videos. Will Smith talking about how he gets motivated, how he stays inspired, how he stays on fire, right? Of course, Eric Thomas, the #1 speaker in the world, he was just heating up back then at that time. He's doing his Motivational Mondays. He's on YouTube every week. Videos, right? Of course, the old school Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar. Some of the old school Les Brown.
Yeah. Yep.
Once again, I'm inundating myself with these people while I'm working these hard jobs all day, every day. When I'm driving to work, I'm just feeding myself, right? And so once again, like for me, whenever I really, really love something, it's a common thing for me to say, you know what, I wonder if I could do that. And so I just slowly started trying to do small videos, small recordings, just building myself up until school started calling me to come in for fitness and health. But while I'm discussing health, I'm trying to inspire, I'm trying to motivate. My mindset is always, it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, I don't think that I'm that special. I don't think I'm that different or unique. So I always feel like if I can do this, a lot of y'all can do it. I'm not that crazy special. That's not my story. Right. So if I can do these things in school, you can probably do it. If I can do these things to write a book, you can probably write a book. Right. And as my life is going, I feel like it can be duplicatable, be the word to use. I'm always trying to find a way to make it bite-sized, digestible, anybody can get it. And how are you going to use it? Trying to give you ways to use it. And that's really, really how it started. So that ties into the books because, I'm sorry.
I was going to ask, where does that confidence come from? To be able to have in your mind, okay, if I see this and I want to do it, I'm going to do it. Because a lot of times people will see something that they want to do and be afraid, or not even necessarily outside voices telling them that. That can be their own voice telling them that they can't do it, or they're not qualified, or what if, but you seem to have like an inherent confidence where it's just like you wanted to do it, so you did it. So where did that come from?
I would say this, the tie-in piece of this whole thing is the preparation.
Okay.
I'm saying things in a little 20-second soundbite to answer your question, but like for every goal I've had, I'm talking about thousands of hours of work. When I wanted to be a ninja, the amount I'm in the yard doing flips and kicking and punching and going to class and going to tournaments and all this stuff was tremendous. I speak on basketball. I spent all those years of my life, night and day, living with that ball. So the preparation you put into it gives the confidence. So my public speaking now or interviewing some of these big time authors on my show, I'm doing so much prep before the show. I feel so confident in this moment because it's like I've read all of your work. I've seen all your stuff. I've read so much in the nuances of it. I'm ready for this show. So the preparation brings confidence.
Gotcha.
If I was just only saying, you know what, I want to try my hand at that. Yeah, I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm scared.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm human once again. I have those emotions, but the preparation overrides the nerves.
Right.
To me.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Oh, another part of the question that I have for your motivational speaking, what topics do you speak on typically?
You talk about in almost 20 years doing this, a range of topics. So, I mean, a school called me any given time to address like bullying, of course.
Okay.
Alcohol. Sometimes even domestic situations at the high school level. Domestic situations. I'm going there all the time, talking about literacy.
Gotcha.
Making the kids interested in reading again. How to go about taking a standardized test. How do you prepare better for different situations like that? That's kind of some of the topics. Going to talking about leadership and organization. Leadership. So I got the 5 Laws of Leadership book came from that, right? The 5 Laws.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a wide variety of things they might call me. So when the school called me, I'm making a speech like a tailor-made suit. I'm not doing some recycled speech from last week.
Right.
I'm asking you, what are you seeing? What do you need? What do they need? What do you want me to convey in this thing? And now I'm trying to make something super tailor-made to where you calling me asking. That's why it becomes so wide like that. Everything is so niched down to what you asking.
Okay. What do you feel is the most rewarding part of your motivational speaking in particular? Because I'm sure you talk to, people in wide age ranges, not just kids. I'm sure it's, from top to the bottom. But right. What do you feel is the most rewarding part of talking to the youth in particular?
I love when I go to a school. It happened a few months ago. I go to a middle school. Before the thing started, the teacher put me to the side. She said, Sean, I don't know what's going on in the school year. These kids are different. I'm like, okay. And I go in there and do 4 hours of speaking. Straight.
4 hours for middle schoolers?
Yeah, because it's 4 classes.
I'm thinking it's one. No, I thought you meant like one. Okay, I was like, those kids ain't gonna pay attention for 4 hours. But okay, gotcha.
I know, right? Probably like a 45 minute to a 50-minute class.
Gotcha.
I kind of had like a 10-minute gap in between the next round. But my Apple Watch that day, my numbers was crazy on the steps. Like I was working. Right? But I love enough. We did 4 hours of this. Every kid is so locked in, and they're leaning forward, and the eye contact. Wherever I'm in the room, they're following me. They're raising their hand. So they're participating. No issues, no problems. Nobody dying off in the bed sleeping. And whenever they left, the teacher was like, I don't know what happened. That feels good. So I go and do a school speech, and then whenever it ends, they say, Sean, the little boy that raised his hand a lot of times? I said, yes, ma'am. They say he never talks. For the whole school, he don't talk. Or the little boy that came up to the front to participate, we can't get him to do nothing. I don't know those kids. I'm just meeting them in real life. But something about what I'm doing and saying is resonating with them so strongly.
Right.
And I'm proud of that. Super excited about that. It's so exhilarating. Like I love doing it. Okay. Really love it.
That leads me into my next question. Have you experienced a moment where with the youth where you're speaking about whatever subject it may be at that time, and you can actually see what you're saying changing, like somebody's wheels turning, like you see it in them, and it's just like, how does that feel?
Once again, it's exciting. Because again, doing a speech is like writing a book. I become a speech writer. I have a beginning, middle, end in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find the right images for the PowerPoint presentation. I'm trying to find the right phrases to use. Because again, we're talking about a generation gap.
Right.
What we think is cool to say, it's not cool for them. I gotta write the speech and then go back and change the words. Like, what would they say?
Right.
Or have a image for this PowerPoint slide for this message. I can't use this particular person. That's our generation. I gotta use somebody they relate to.
Right.
I gotta use Sexy Red. I gotta use somebody else, not somebody from our generation.
Right.
So whenever it comes on for them, I feel like a touchdown. Like, yeah,
you did. Okay.
I'm at 2 a.m. trying to imagine how can I make this sink in to these kids in a relatively short period of time. Because most times school call me in, oh, you got 20 minutes. Oh, you got 30 minutes. Kind of a normal standard what's happening. Come to the school, we're having a back to school program. You got 20 minutes to inspire the kids for the school.
Okay. All right,
20 minutes on the camera or 20 minutes on the stage is like, it's like half. I always say that. 20 minutes is 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to land this plane in 10 minutes. So when I see the light bulb come on, I'm leaving out of there. Like I'm in the parking lot screaming.
Right.
Calling my phone like, oh my God, you won't believe it. It's so exhilarating.
I'm sure that has to be a very fulfilling experience to have. So I think it's great that you do that.
It's so addictive. Like, I don't see myself stopping that part of my life no times. I mean, the pandemic had a major impact on me doing that because, of course, school's locked down.
Right.
Then whenever school does come back, it's so restrictive on who they let come into school and this and that. So, like, it's slowly but surely trying to get the train picked back up to where back before the pandemic, I was sometimes doing 3 and 4 schools in 1 week. I'm traveling across the state. I've gone out of state. I've gone to Milwaukee, talked to a school in Milwaukee. I've done some national stuff. And, yeah, I mean, it was really, really picking up before the pandemic.
Yeah, I can tell that you really enjoy it because you like lighten up just talking about it. So you definitely are in the right lane with that, doing that. So, and I feel like when you are passionate about something, when it is something that is just in you, and when you give it to other people and it's genuine, like that, that light in you just comes out, whether you want it, whether you realize it or not. So I think that's great that you're doing that. And I'm sure that the children, even those who may not be getting it now, I'm sure they're hearing you. So hopefully, like you said, you want people to give people something to think about. So I think that's what you're doing, even if, the message may not seem to be getting to some of them at that moment. My next question I have, let me see. Okay. The next question I have for you is, because motivational speaking is a process of where you're constantly giving, what do you do to pour back into yourself?
Well, now we're going to I'm still a martial art fanatic currently. Okay. So I still go to my martial art classes when I can make it. My schedule's so crazy now, but I still go to martial art class to rebuild myself. On my off weeks, I work every other weekend, my job. When I'm off, I'm going to church, getting refilled spiritually, being around people that pour into me, right? In my off time, I have one of those friends that pour into me, people in my life that pour into me, right? I mentioned being a coffee connoisseur off the mic earlier. One of my favorite cafes is just hanging out.
Okay.
Even without buying something, sometimes I go there with my favorite book and I'm sitting in the bag, enjoying the ambiance, enjoying what's happening around.
Right.
I'm a movie fan. I love movies. I love going to the movies. I went to the movies late last night. Saw the new Joker movie, but I love going to the movies. I'm a movie head. I'm in the movies. Like, that's things that I do. Examples of refilling myself, recharging myself.
So you recharging yourself, is that an intentional practice? It is.
It has to be super intentional because my job is super intense and super traumatic. Can be traumatic. When I'm around in the hospital, I'm in a hospital setting. I'm in the emergency room. I'm seeing gunshot victims. I'm seeing stab victims. I'm seeing somebody come in with the ambulance. They're having a heart attack. And they're trying to work on them and bring them back to life. I'm seeing all of that. It's like 50, 60 hours a week. I'm around somebody's worst day in their life. 60 hours. So whenever I'm off the clock, I have to be super intentional on grounding myself and resetting myself to be able to go back and do it again the next birthday. So I got to be super intentional. If I wasn't, I'd be depressed. I'd be down and out. I'd be in a very, very bad condition health-wise. Because in the health field, people don't realize how unhealthy the health field is. If you was in a break room and filming the break room in the hospital, if you can see what the nurses are doing, there's nothing healthy about what anybody's doing. It's very fast-paced. It's very eating on the go, eating when you can. They're door dashing their butt off in there. They're probably too tired to go home and cook a nutritional meal.
Right.
So if you're careful and intentional, you're eating crazy food 7 days a week. All of it. You're not sitting down, taking your time and enjoying the meal.
Right.
You're eating bites. Get a bite, run out the room. You come back, the sandwich cold, eat a bite, run out the room. Like, this is the environment of a hospital. But we're trying to help people.
Right.
If you don't take the intent to rebuild yourself, you won't have a long career, healthy-wise, in that world, to me. That's my opinion.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and pivot the conversation to you interviewing other authors. Now, do you call it the Sean P. experience? Do you refer to it as a podcast? Okay.
The Sean P. experience is a podcast.
So tell us how you got into interviewing other authors.
This is fun. So I became an interviewer because as an author, I had a hard time being interviewed. I'm going to people, going with my work, I'm going to their platform, like, could you please bring me on, talk about the work. You want to get promo. You're trying to get promotion, right? In the author out there, you're trying to get that marketing. You're trying to get in front of people, trying to get the eyes on you. And I'm going to all of these people that have shows, and I can't get on. Or whenever I would get on, they would give me a real, like I would say the word, a half-effort interview.
Got it.
Like you didn't read the book, you didn't do your homework,
right?
Didn't dive in deep, and I would leave these shows feeling so unfulfilled. Like, I wish they would have asked me about it. I wish I could have talked about that. So I said, you know what? I want to make a platform where other authors don't feel like that. And I'm giving other people a chance that I didn't get. And that's why I interview, National Book Award authors, they come on my show. Pulitzer Prize winners, they come on the show. But also local authors, like myself. Independent, you just starting, just your first time out the gate, you want to get a platform, hit me up. I'll bring you on.
How long ago did you start it?
About 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. How has the experience been over the past 4 or 5 years?
Exciting, awesome, amazing. I was blessed to have Dr. Ian Smith on a couple of days ago. Like, anytime, you know how hard it is to inbox people and, you kind of trying to get them on the show.
Yes.
That's harder than people think sometimes. I'm always blessed with anybody of a certain level tell me yes. He didn't have to say yes, of course.
Right.
He did this in under 2 minutes, by the way. I hit him up. We exchanged. We discussed time and date. It was done. It wasn't like talk to my publicist, talk to my agent, and then CC the company, and then none of that. It's straight. And so many of my experiences in 4 years have been that.
Right.
But these authors I love so much, and I admire them so much. And we have personal relationships way beyond the show. We
Mm.
talking to hymns on a weekly basis sometimes. We talking on the phone. And then when I get blessed to go to a book event and they're there, when they see me in person, I can't even explain how they respond to me. It blows me away. When I go somewhere, I'm trying to be incognito, just chill. And they're like, oh my God, Sean P here, y'all. It's Sean P. Because I don't expect that from them because I see them like that.
Right.
I'm not saying, let me get my phone, get a selfie together. They say, come on, Sean, can we get a picture with me? I'm like, okay. And I really, really love the ability I've had to make real, genuine connection with these people.
Good. Now,
that's the most gratifying thing to me.
Okay, the podcast is something you intend to continue?
Yes.
Not that I want you to stop. I'm just like, I'm just asking as far as like, I guess the better question would be, is do you see yourself stopping doing the podcast? No. Okay.
I'm blessed that everything I'm doing currently, hopefully I do it until I'm out of here. Hopefully I'm podcasting 25, 30 years from now. Hopefully I'm still getting called to the schools or whatever, radio station, TV, 20, 30 years from now. Hopefully I'm still writing. Because all the guys that I admire a whole lot, they did it until they died. Even whenever they were blind, they were still transcribing to somebody, still putting out books. They were still on tour, going to do speeches. And they had a little handler with them, sit them down in front of the microphone, and they still doing their thing. Yeah. Even at that point, my grandfather is 86 years old. He's a pastor, right? My grandfather still get up out that bed and put that camera on and do his thing online. But that fire in his heart to even still do it, I really, really admire it.
Yeah. All right. And for those who are watching right now, can you tell everyone where they can catch your podcast?
Yes, sure. So on YouTube, type in the Sean P Experience. You'll go to my page. Of course, click subscribe.
Yes.
Hit the notification bell because the show is always coming. Get notified for the next show. And go to the scroll, go to the backlog and see all these wonderful guests I've been blessed to have on my podcast. Please check it out. Please be a comment. I love feedback.
Good. And I'll for sure put the link to your podcast in the description box for anyone who wants to go check it out. And make sure y'all hit subscribe. That is important to us. Thumbs up, leave a comment.
Can I mention one thing, please?
Yeah.
Aside from the Sean P Experience, I'm also one of the three-legged arm of the modern day Griot podcast. Myself, Dr. Wade, and Kofi have the Griot podcast once a month. At the end of the month, we discuss various topics every month, but always tying it back to literature and learning and advancing and educating the community. I'm very, very proud about that podcast.
And that's also on YouTube?
Yes.
That's also on YouTube.
And
Spotify. Okay. So my next question I have is, what so far has been your biggest pinch me moment as far as your literary journey? Whether that be a book you wrote, maybe someone read it and had certain feedback, or maybe someone you met or someone you've interviewed. What has been that comes to your mind like your biggest pinch me moment or a highlight that stands out?
Yeah, as I was saying earlier about the books, when a person inboxes me, it's Sean, I'm driving to work, my daughter's in the car, and we're playing the audio book, and my daughter is getting so much from it. That's the ultimate biggest compliment to me. Because I'm always priding myself on I want to make it to where anybody can get it. I'm trying to write as universally as possible. Not just adults. Not just for the kids. If I can say something and both of them can get it simultaneously, it's the biggest touchdown. I've done my job. So the biggest moments to me is always those kind of inboxes, those kind of phone calls. I've been blessed to have a lot of those. Like, man, I'm in the kitchen cooking, and then my son just happened to walk by. He stopped and paid attention. And was asking I can't predict stuff like that at 2 in the morning when I'm making this content. I can't predict those moments. And then whenever they happen, it's just, you can't quantify it.
Right.
There's no price tag on that kind of a moment.
Right. Okay.
So special.
All right. Let's see. What do you feel has been, and it's probably tying into what you're saying now, but what do you feel has been your greatest literary accomplishment?
Greatest literary accomplishment. Oh, I got it. He's best. So during the pandemic, this is where this comes from, the Sean P. collection. So I was able to publish 4 books in the pandemic, right? E-books. And 3 of those, whenever I released them, they were Amazon #1 releases when I released them.
Oh, wow.
I'm talking 3 back-to-back. Now, I'm at work whenever this happens. I work at night. I'm in the parking lot at work, screaming. I don't care.
Right.
I can almost take my badge and throw it off, take my clock out, like, forget y'all. Like, it's this monumental moment. And the first time it ever happened, I saw it by accident. One of my friends hit me up like, man, I'm trying to go online on Amazon to buy the book. Something going on with it. I'm trying to go on there to see what the problem is. And when I go on it, I saw the little #1 by the book.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I was tripping. I didn't want to post about it. It'd be wrong.
Right.
I go out of Amazon. I go back through it, and it still is there. I had to do a screenshot immediately, like before it's changes.
Right.
A screenshot off the top. I'm calling everybody. Ma, guess what? Like, it's just, because as a writer, you know how many thousands of books are released? Probably almost daily at this point. With the the self-publishing things are coming out all right. So for one of my works to be recognized as a #1 release, it happened 3 times. It's just,
that's awesome.
One of my biggest to date. My second one is I had a Barnes & Noble book signing probably 7 years ago now. My biggest book signing to date. As far as the venue, as far as the moment, the people that came out to the book signing, the response, I'll never forget that particular book signing. I will never forget that day.
Yeah.
But for 2 reasons.
I'm sure, those are awesome. Congratulations on that, 3 back-to-back #1. Those banners, when you see them, it does something. It does something in here for you. It just does something in here. Okay, congratulations. Much continued success I wish for you on that. My next question is there anything as far as projects that you are involved with that we haven't covered that you would like to share?
Really, I would say my third publication, Expanding Your Vision, The Hero's Journey. So a lot of these ebooks, they were originally speeches. That's how they all tie back together. So Expanding Your Vision, The Hero's Journey. I'm from a small place here in Louisiana, and a lot of our children, a lot of these communities don't get a chance to travel, don't get a chance to experience other things, right? So that whole book is about things you can do even if you can't afford to go and get a flight to go somewhere. If you can't afford to go drive somewhere else, what could you do to expand your vision? Because they say exposure leads to expansion, right? When you're exposed to things, you never go back to your original dimension.
Okay.
So that whole entire book is the hero's journey. We've all seen a lot of age-old movies and series. Is that person starting out, most times in a very lowly place. Then they go on this journey and they find the mentor, they find the master, they find the person to give them the advice and to hone their skills. Then they go on this journey into the unknown. And it's scary. It's all these things, right? And then you finally have the villain. All of us in our individual life have our own villain, whatever that is to you. In my story, I speak on my grandmother passed, right? So like to me, that was like the most horrible part of my life to date. My grandmother passed. That was the mountain I had to climb. That was the villain I had to fight. And in most of these movies, the master doesn't fight with you against this thing. You gotta fight to fight yourself. It's on you. It's your fight. So me overcoming grief and what I did to overcome anger and the emotions I had of losing my grandmother, I had to fight that monster by myself. And then when you go on the other side of it, you go back to your town, you go back to the village, you bring these jewels back that you gained on the journey. So that book is all about the arc of that journey, what that means to you, your individual life, how you expand yourself.
Okay. All right. And my last question I have for you for our Q&A portion is, anyone who is watching, what platforms are we able to find you on?
Yes, I am on TikTok, Threads, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My main platform is Instagram. I'm on Instagram all day, every day. I'm an Instagram fanatic, right? But I do have content other places as well. But the main place, Instagram all day for sure.
Do you have the same username across all of them?
Seanathan Polidore, no problems.
Okay.
All platforms.
Gotcha. All right, so that was my last question for the Q&A. Before we get to the book discussion part of the podcast, I wanted to give you some quick fire questions where your answers could be 1 or 2, maybe 3 words, just to kind of have like a little palate cleanser before we dive into the book discussion. You cool with that?
Try my best.
Okay. These are easy questions. They're fun questions for us to get to know you a little bit better. So first one, your favorite meal? Lasagna. Homemade?
Yes, preferably. I'm a pasta fanatic. I love pasta.
Okay. What are you most passionate about? Education. Your favorite place to travel?
New York. I love New York.
New York? Okay.
It's too cold, but I love New York.
Gotcha. A song you can listen to on repeat without getting tired?
Oh my God. I would say Music Soul Child Love.
Really? Love. Okay. The last thing offline that made you laugh?
My God. Offline? Bruh. I can't even answer that question.
Isn't
only because I'm so silly off the camera. So I'm always. I mean, there's too many things to even narrow down. Yeah, that's.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Something people would be surprised to know about you.
I love to get in the kitchen and cook.
Okay.
The past like 2 or 3 years in particular, I've been really getting my food game up and really, getting in there, man. Getting my Iron Chef on. So I'm getting in there.
All right. I like that. A profession you always wanted to try.
I think what I wanted to try, I've done it. I don't have anyone that I haven't done. Whatever I wanted to do, I really made it my business to go and try to do it. I've done it.
Okay. What brings you the most joy?
Helping other people. I get the most gratification helping
others. What is your absolute favorite movie?
Wow. Favorite movie? The Last Dragon. 1986.
The Last Dragon.
Leroy. Yeah. Okay. That changed my life. That changed the whole course of my life.
Okay. Your favorite book of all time?
Robert Greene, Master.
Okay.
I own it in 4 different versions, and I'm always recommending it.
Got it. And last one, where would you be without books?
A regular, schmegular, just go to work, clock in, clock out, go to the house kind of person.
Okay.
And books really changed everything about my life. I owe everything to books.
To books? Okay. And that transitions us perfectly into the book discussion.